Well, that's what an actor does. He looks at the page, he looks at the piece of paper in front of him. There's a role written out, there are lines written out, but there's no character there. The character is really him. How can he adapt himself into what he sees on the page? You blend that piece of paper along with who you are and the mechanics you have as a human being, and then you come up with something. And I have to admit, there was something very calm and I wouldn't say easy, but accessible in the role. So playing him was I didn't feel like I was playing him. I felt like it could be him right now talking to you. You know what I mean?
Is it something different from what you previously did in your movies or series?
They're all different from each other. You know, they all have differences, and I never really purposefully seek out what's similar or different. I just see it as something new. So I always start from step one, you know, and then you build from there. So as to, well, yeah, it's one of my most favorite characters I've ever played, definitely.
Thank you, Sir Art. And for the last question, Robbie, it's for Direk Dan Villegas. What were the lessons you gained from working in a production such as this, local setting and mixed actors or international team?
Madami, bro, eh. Number one, yung workflow, yung Western workflow of doing things. Kasi kumbaga, dito sa atin, we have our own system of shooting. Tapos sobrang, I was surprised on how professional the foreign actors were. I mean, pagdating nila sa set, super memorize na nila yung lines nila. You don't really have to read lines with them. I mean, sa script reading pa lang, supposedly reading, but they come in prepared and memorize na nila yung script. So, plus, I appreciated the whole process of it, na, kumbaga, everything is pre-approved before you shoot. So, ayun, actually, yung mga natutunan ko sa Almost Paradise, ina-apply ko na ngayon sa mga shoots ko dito sa Philippines. Like, yung show and tell, which is very important na everything is pre-approved before you shoot. So, ang dami kong natutunan eh. And I think you really just have to be a sponge and absorb everything. Lahat ng positive na experience na nakuha mo doon. And syempre, iba din yung at the start, it was very intimidating eh. Kasi di ba parang Hollywood level of production, tapos papasok ka doon. So yun, thankfully nairaos naman. So ayun. Thank you.
Salamat po, Direk Dan. Ayan, Robbie.
Yep, thank you, Justin. I think our next friend from the media is all fired up. She's ready to ask questions coming from the Freeman, Cebu. We got Miss Vanessa Balbuena.
And actually, she also asked me to read the questions. No?
Oh, okay. Iba yung text sa akin dumating eh. Okay.
Okay.
Maybe you can ask the questions.
It's also for Direk Dan. Ayan. What's your feedback with the Cebuano off and on-cam talent you work with? Yeah, since Vanessa is from the broadsheet in Cebu, the Freeman.
Yeah, super fun sila kasama. Number one, super fun kasama yung mga taga Cebu. And hindi lang sila super fun, but they're also very professional. So, parang, for me kasi very important na you're working and having fun also eh. So, ayun, masaya sila kasama sa set. Parang, even the tougher shoots na parang sasakit na yung ulo mo, it becomes lighter because you're working with people who are very welcoming and na parang the Cebu people are very nice and very welcoming and very professional.
And the next question is for all the cast members no na nandito. What are the fondest memories of your time in Cebu, whether on set or off set?
Interested to find an answer and listen to like drinking bakasi soup or eating bakasi. let's ask Sir Nonie first. Sige. Sir Nonie?
I have many fond memories of that my stint at Cebu. So maybe I'll just mention some. Well, one of my good memories would be like having Mr. Art Acuña as my neighbor and brewing coffee at 4 a.m. Yeah, and then making that coffee and sharing it with him. Then we have a really nice chat at 5 a.m. Because over here, old people, we don't get a chance to chat with other people at 5 in the morning. So
Sunrise Warriors right there.
So I had a really great buddy there. Yeah, we are Art, Mr. Art. I miss you, Art. My friends, co-actors, Sam. I miss Sam. I miss Sam laughing at me. Yeah.
not with, laughing at you.
With and at. And of course, Christian, my co-actors, and of course, I have really great memories with the staff who are so professional and very caring. With the PAs, people from ABS-CBN, they were the cream of the crop over there. And because I knew them already from my years of working with ABS, it felt like it was like another home. So I can't really pinpoint a specific moment, but that's what I can share with you. Yeah.
After this, you can develop like an Art Nonie cafe. Brewing soon at 4 a.m. Miss, what was your a great memory which you will never forget in Cebu?
You talking to me?
Sorry, Miss S. But since you kind of threatened me a bit, let's go with you, Sir Art.
Okay. Well, definitely my time with Chief was my neighbor. One of the highlights. Nonie doesn't just give a coffee at 5 a.m. Brings a sandwich to go with it. Pa. Wow, this guy is so freaking cool. And we also had nightcaps together after a shoot, and we didn't have to wake up early. Have some whiskey, talk about our characters, the world. I mean, we talked about everything. So my fondest memories are very people oriented, and my time with Chief Ocampo is definitely a highlight. I talk about that all the time. It was a lot of laughs, a lot of insight, and I've been a fan of Nonie for a very long time. So I mean, getting to know him more deeply as a person, and he became a friend of mine, it's special for me. I salute you, Sir Nonie. Rock and roll. So susunod.
Susunod ulit. Grabe, may Sunrise Warrior na. Meron pang nightcap, ha? Okay. Maybe quickly lang, Mrs. What's your favorite memory in Cebu?
I wish I had more time with my co-stars like them, no? Kaya lang kasi ang nangyari sa akin, I was a fly-in, fly-out. I had a fly-in, fly-out schedule because I had to do something here in Manila. So I didn't have that much time to bond with them off screen. Siguro ang pinaka-memorable sa akin is isa sa pinakamahirap na eksena siguro nagawa ko is that scene in the hotel lobby. Remember when I had to talk to Christian, that episode about the golf thing with Uncle Danny and all that, wherein I had a two pages yung sequence na yon, and it was almost all my dialogue, and I had to be able to scene and mark and had to land sa mga ang dami in English pa man din yun. Plus I had a lot of business to do. In other words, I had to think of so many things, and I was so nervous because ka-eksena ko nga ang Christian. So, syempre, nakakahiya, di ba? Pagka hindi mo masyadong makuha. So, for me, that was one of the most memorable scenes that I did. Plus, of course, short only, yung palipad-lipad sa eroplano, I remember one time may bagyo and we had to take the last flight out of Manila just to get to Cebu to shoot. And for me, winawasi was kasi ere, but it was a fun and nakakatakot na experience. So there. Thank you.
Oh, that is what we call dedication. Dedication right there. Passion yan. Okay, Miss Sam, I'm interested to find out what was that laughing matter with Sir Nonie. Were you laughing at him or with him?
Oh, in the scene. Yeah, no, I was laughing. Yeah, I'm laughing now. I can't even stop. It was just something Nonie had said, because initially I think his line was supposed to be, what was it? I said book him, and then Nonie's, and then Chico Campo's line was, love to. There you go. And then instead, one scene, Nonie decides to yell, "Love it!" And he just made this face, and I couldn't hold it in. It's just, yeah. It was a fun time, but I wasn't able to hold it in. I apologize, Hannah, for a couple good 5 minutes, but then we were able to carry on with the scene, thankfully. But Nonie, I was laughing with you.
Just to be clear.
Okay.
Just to be clear.
I believe you.
And I always laugh with you, Nonie.
Yes.
I love to laugh with you.
Yeah.
Well, let's continue the laughter as we get to answer more questions, I guess, coming from our friends from the media. Justin?
And Robbie, before I call on yung susunod na magtatanong, I'll read a question from Miss Marinel Cruz of Philippine Daily Inquirer. This is for Direk Ruel Bayani, the head of ABS-CBN International Production and Co-Production. Direk Ruel, why was there a need to assign several directors for the episode? Can't one director do it all? And what's the rationale behind this scheme?
That is, thank you for the question. That is really how they do it. That is the US series set up. You have a showrunner, Dean, as the head. Mark Roskid directed the first 2 episodes, and then every single episode will have a different director. They take turns in doing pre-production. So it's a more systematic way of doing it. Remember, this is episodic television. It's not the continuing kind of a series. So that's really how they do it. And we were thrilled also to know that it is a system that works, because the person who is assigned for episode 6 has been doing pre-prod from the time the directors of episode 2 and 3 are working. So they have a long time to prep. They have a long time to troubleshoot. And so to me, it's really a very efficient way to do it. So that is US episodic television. Yeah.
Thank you, Direk Ruel. Our next set of questions will come from Leia Ocampo of What's Up. Leia.
Hello, hi. So my first question is for the production team, especially our casting director, because there's a difference between American and Filipino actors in terms of their skills. So what were like the qualifications, or what kind of acting skill set were you looking for when you were casting Filipino actors for the show, so that it would appeal not only to the Filipino audiences but the international viewers as well?
Well, thank you for that question. Actually, there's not a lot of difference, because we really have a good talent pool of actors in the Philippines. The major difference is how they look with the rest of the major cast. Like, for example, Christian Kane. Height ni Christian Kane, babagay ba yung actor with his height. Things like that, or how they look at each other. In terms of talent, I think we really have a great number of people na can do the parts, but it's really boils down to how they look and how they are preferred by the showrunner. For example, si Dean Devlin, he's the final approver ng casting. So, and it's basically their preference then for the character.
Okay, thank you. So my next question is for Mr. Nonie Buencamino. Hello. There's something about your character that makes the people love and also hate him at times. Pero how is Chief Ocampo different to Nonie Buencamino? And as an actor, how did you learn to close that gap and immerse yourself in the role?
Okay, so Chief Ocampo is a very he can thrive with a public audience. He can do well. Nonie Buencamino is shy in public. Yeah. Because I'm not very good speaking to a large group of people, but si Chief Ocampo likes to be that. He likes, but what we have in common, well, is that he is very principled. He likes to do things honestly. He's very honest, but it doesn't appear so. It seems like he wants to just gain yung popularity as the chief and get all the praise from others. But actually, he had high hopes and parang dreams for the police department of Mactan. So I think that's what makes his character charming, because sometimes it comes out funny when he tries to get attention. Yeah.
Okay, thank you po. So next question, our last question ko po is for Miss Sam. You've mentioned that Almost Paradise is your first big project, and now that it's huge and it's been recognized by many, are you looking forward now to being part of another action series if given the chance, or you want to try some specific genre?
I'm open to trying anything. So I'm very open to any projects that may come my way. So I will never say never. No, go ahead. Sorry.
What? It's okay. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that obviously this being my first experience, I had the time of my life, just being able to learn from the veteran actors and the quality of these people's talents. I was just very fortunate to be able to work alongside of them, and I asked a lot of questions, and I learned just so much, and I really feel like I grew a lot as an actor just by being on the show. So I will definitely love to be part of more future projects.
Okay.
And I hope you guys see me very soon.
Yes, gusto ko lang idagdag, no, as usual, co-host. Yung si Samantha, when we were doing her auditions, of course, you know that over 100 people auditioned from theater, film, television. So many Kapamilya actresses auditioned. Samantha entered the room. She was just about to deliver her second line, and I was beside Cory Vidanes. We were watching the screen, and Cory Vidanes whispered to me and said, "She's the one. She's going to get the role." And I even argued, but she's so inexperienced. How can she handle a role of this scope? And she's going to be heart and soul of an entire series. And Tita Cory just said, "No, she's the role. She's going to get it. We'll just figure it out along the way." But see, she's an instant star, and she's one of the biggest, to me, one of the biggest revelations of this project. She was hardworking. She learned how to do her stunts. Obviously, Sam, you will get a lot of offers after this, and obviously, you will get offers from ABS-CBN. We're very proud of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
How does it feel hearing all of this?
It feels amazing. Hi, Ruel. I miss you.
I miss you.
It's been a while. But yeah, just to be able to hear that, it just feels like like I've done the work. And you know, I knew that coming into this, I knew I was going to be against people who have been experienced and have done this for years, and they have you know, a lot more to offer than I ever thought I would. But I went in there with nothing to lose, and you know, I just have to be very grateful just to be able to get this project. I'm very thankful for this project, very thankful for the show, and I've learned so much from it. And yeah, thank you, Ruel.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Leia. You know, I was just looking at the face of RSB. I think there's something lined up for Sam real soon. I'm gonna see RSB.
Magaling kang manghula, Rob.
Oh,
That will be for another press con.
okay. Book it. Love it. Just like what Sir Nonie said. Okay, we're down to our last two questions coming from actually two friends from the media, and one of which is Marco Polo Demo from Kwento ni Toto. Oh, this guy's familiar. Marco Polo. Good afternoon, buddy.
Good afternoon. Well, actually, actually, just to give you some idea, we receive scripts for each episode, and then we study it, and then pag-aaralan namin kung sino yung mga characters doon sa episode. And the showrunner, si Dean Devlin, and the scriptwriters and the directors sa Filipinas, or whoever is the director for that episode, they give us the input kung ano yung mga characters na to. And once we have that, we actually audition for each character, from the lead up to the mga bit players for each episode. But at the end of the day, what we do sa casting, we present to them 5, 3, or even 10 per character yan. And ang showrunner, si Dean Devlin, with his writers and with the director for each episode, they try to assess kung sinong babagay for the role. And then at the final decision, it's the showrunner, and that's Dean Devlin. Siya yung nagde-decide, siya yung dapat ma-cast for this part. And that goes from the very top, role up to the bit player. Merong approval yan. Galing sa Hollywood pa. Sa LA yan. Nagko-communicate kami from the Pilipinas to LA just to do casting. So it's a big work, but it's fun kasi nakikita namin yung iba't ibang talents natin sa Pilipinas. Nakakatuwa. And the interesting part, yung sa question mo una, it's not really a lot of just Filipino actors. We actually audition actors from New Zealand, from Singapore, roles that's specific to a foreign-looking character. So naghanap talaga kami kasi kulang sa Pilipinas na mga puti, for example, na umaarte. So we had to look outside of the Philippines. But in terms of Filipino actors, marami tayong magagaling. So which is nakaka-proud talaga.
All right.
Hi. Hi. Good afternoon. I'm half Bruneian. I'm half Filipino and half Bruneian from Brunei. Yes. How well, I've been in the Philippines practically all my life. I've been visiting family every year. It's like a tradition that we come back every year and visit family because we do have a big family. And I always remember how amazing and how much of a community it is to be able to, be with the Filipinos. And it's always the big parties and always the boodle fights, and I always do remember all of that, and it is such a great and fun experience, and to be able to show a foreigner, Alex Walker, and to be able to experience all of that and to be able to enjoy the culture with us. I think I definitely can touch base on how important it is to have family, especially since Walker is coming in and being around people that he doesn't really know, and he's in a foreign place. It's definitely something that we can show the Filipino community and how inviting we are, and that definitely shows. And when I show Alex Walker, Mabuhay, Philippines. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
I think he's brewing his coffee right now. It's not even 4 a.m., but he will be joining us shortly. But if there's a question that you have, there, Sir Art.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Your volume's off again. Art. There you are.
Hey, Christian.
What's up, brother?
Christian's here.
Actually, before we go with that question, Marco Polo, with all due respect, we are just so honored to be joined this afternoon by our fellow Kapamilya. Ladies and gentlemen, please all welcome, up first, the woman behind Electric Entertainment, the executive in charge of production, Miss Patricia Pao. Miss Patricia?
Hi, everyone. Hello.
Oh, nice to have you right here in this virtual arena. Thank you so much. Okay.
Thank you.
Also joining us this afternoon is the producer and director of episodes 3 and 7, Mr. Francis De La Torre.
Francis.
Hi.
Right.
Hi, Sir Francis. Okay, and on to the next Kapamilya, who brought us this massive hit series, and Hollywood producer, creator, director of Almost Paradise, episode 10, and the pride of the Philippines, Mr. Dean Devlin. Sir Dean, mabuhay.
Hi. And my dog, Monty.
Oh, and Monty. Hi, Monty. Welcome. And he's all set. Just really want to thank you, actually, because Stargate was the first non-animation movie I got to watch in my life with my dad when I was in when I was 4 years old. And last,
Oh my God.
definitely not the least, the executive producer and played the role of retired DEA Agent Alex Walker. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the one and only Mr. Christian Kane. Mabuhay!
Hi. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, before we proceed with all the questions, we got lots of questions, gargantuan ones. Marco Polo, you want to finish up with your question first?
It starts with a great story, and secondly, what is my role in that story? And that's what turns me on about it. And it doesn't matter to me if it's a small indie or a big production or an off Broadway thing or a Broadway thing. It never mattered to me. I always gave 200% anyway. I just like acting. You know, it's I like the action of the motions of going through something different. That's it. That's the simplest answer I can give you for that, man. What else? Oh, that's too long a list, buddy. I mean, let's. But I'll tell you this: if Ernesto Alamares is the last role I play, I can die a happy man. I'm good with it.
Oh wow!
That's my answer to that.
Big statement right there.
Yep.
So, Marco Polo, maraming salamat for these interesting questions.
Thank you.
Thank you. Kwento ni Toto, Marco Polo, maraming salamat. Okay, let me ask some questions to our guests right here. First is for Miss Tisha. Just want to ask, how was it like working with ABS-CBN crew tapping Hollywood productions?
Sorry, can you repeat the question? How was it working?
With our ABS-CBN crew.
Interesting. It was rewarding, tough. It was challenging, as it would always be with anyone. And I think in the end, we created something amazing together.
And lots of people definitely agree to that one. Actually, we got a question. We got this big question for our boss, RSB, later on. If we would be having, another season. Is that right? Yeah? Yep. So RSB, you better prepare for that big question later on. Okay, boss?
Okay.
Okay. So, to Sir Francis. Sir Francis, I'm just curious, how was the reception of the viewers abroad to Almost Paradise?
I think it's very well. Dean will, I'm sure, speak to that a little bit better, but I think the reception's, like Dean said in the beginning, it's great when you create a show that's like a comfortable shoe that you can put on every week, and you invite all these wonderful people to your house every week. And what I think the show does is it gives that to the audience, but in an exciting, kind of unique environment, an environment that they hadn't seen before. So I think that's interesting to a lot of people. And I think they responded very well.
Mm-hmm. Actually, talking about the environment, I got this question to Sir Dean. We're just really proud of this series. But out of all the places, why did you choose Cebu as the main location of that particular series?
There's so many wonderful resorts in the Philippines. So if you were only choosing a resort, it would be, we needed to have city and resort, and we needed to have a place that we could shoot. So, Cebu was just kind of perfect. There's so many beautiful resorts in such a short drive from one another. And yet there is Cebu and Mactan, really terrific cities to work in. And of course, there happened to be the perfect studio for us there. So, honestly, how I chose it's kind of embarrassing. I was actually using Google Earth. and I saw the resort and I said, oh my God, that's the perfect resort for the show. And then as I was looking at it, I said, wait a minute, there's a studio 5 minutes away? What? And that's how it kind of all started.
Out of proximity and all. But great location, great story. And I have to say, Sir Christian Kane, you're just amazing whenever we see you on television. Who were your inspiration or pegs for your character, Alex Walker?
Well, the funny thing about Alex is that Dean brought this to my attention a few years before we started filming. He was like, I've got this great role. He goes, you're too young. And it just so happened, I guess I aged into the role. And so, somebody in this situation with anxiety, with heart problems, with all this other kind of stuff, I sort of knew about this whole cat. And it wasn't XDEA. I've been playing that for a couple of years on different shows and stuff like that. But Dean wrote for me. He knew me at that point. We'd become friends, and he wrote for me. So it was just, it was very easy stepping into this role. The problems that I had was now you have this American being put into the Philippines, and I was like very anxious, very nervous, all this other kind of stuff. And the thing is, I was treated more like family there than I've ever been in my entire life, man. It just felt like home. I got to relax right when I got off the plane. There was no, anxiety, no nothing. I had some of the best people around me. Art I had met when I got there. Sam I had met, but before I got there, Nonie was. I met Nonie. It was in Cess and everybody else. It was incredible, man. They welcomed me in, and so I got to concentrate on the character, not concentrate on a guy being away from home. I felt like I was at home, and so it was very simple for me.
Well, that's nice. That's a nice statement right there. Out of curiosity, did you get to try the Art Nonie brew coffee that they
Yeah, exactly. I didn't. Go ahead, Nonie. Say something. Go ahead, Nonie.
No, because he was. We were talking about Art and I were living beside each other. We were neighbors, and so we both woke up at 4 a.m. at the same time, and so I would make my coffee press and share it with him. But you were somewhere. You were in another place. So, yeah.
I'm sorry. I thought he was. Sorry, I didn't realize it. I thought he was talking about the food because I.
No. They were asking me earlier what were my nice memories, and I mentioned that two old men waking up very early in the morning and taking coffee together. we're up and everybody else was asleep.
Well, let's get to that one before we ask VJ IE coming from the #1 music channel in the Philippines for questions. What was your favorite memory in Cebu, Christian?
Oh man, I got to be honest with you, and I'm so sorry to restate this. My favorite memory in Cebu was getting there and being so nervous about being the only American there, and I've got to do just becoming, it was like, are they going to look at me different? Or are you going to, and they never did. That was just family. And that was my best memory of Cebu. And that's why I want to go back so bad. Was it because I left family there, man. I've left some more family than I've ever had in my entire life. I left in Cebu. Well, I left in the Philippines, I should say, but that was my best memory. My best memory was the open arms that I ran into, and to do a show like this and to make it as successful as I think we have, you need that. And we all hugged each other, and we're all a family, and I love it.
Looking at the future, we can do it two ways. Sir Dean, it's either we come up with season 2, or we just have a vacation right here when the pandemic simmers down. Okay, when the pandemic simmers down. We got a plethora of questions for you guys, but I think IE, who wants to be part of episode 11, has a couple of questions for you guys. Sorry, IE, only 10 episodes.
Hi, Robbie.
Hello.
No problem. Hi, Robbie. Hi, Justin, and to the terrific filmmakers and cast of Almost Paradise. I'm Ai from the #1 music channel in the Philippines, Mix. My first question is for Mr. Christian Kane. Now that you're on a roll, you are taking a trip down memory lane. I know it's been a year, but can you tell us more about your fondest memories shooting Almost Paradise? And aside from the people, aside from the family that you built, what do you miss most about Cebu and the Philippines?
You know, it's a funny fact. There was a scene with me and Art where it was the very first episode, and Art comes out and he sits down with me on the beach, and I'm having a really bad time in my life, and he introduces me to Mabuhay, and he said, "This is Mabuhay," and it's weird because we were acting, but at the same time, I got the meaning as he was telling it to me, because Art is an unbelievable actor. And he also like instilled that in me at the same time. So we were in the scene, but if you watch it, I like literally look out, I look over the water and I understand the meaning. And that was one of my favorite things in the world, is it actually happened on film where I understood Mabuhay for the first time.